Sir to take over. Now we have another speaker, Advocate E. Suhail Ahmed, sir. I would like to introduce speaker. E. Suhail Ahmed is a founder partner of the law firm Trial Base Advocates based in Bangalore. He's practicing in the field of property laws, corporate laws, and other civil laws, having more than 21 years of experience in the field of property laws. He is former chairman of legal committee and member of core committee of National Real Estate Development Council, Karnataka. He is convener of legal and government policies committees, Nardeco, Karnataka. He is member of anti-ragging committee and committee for stem cell research at Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Research, Scientific Research, Bengaluru. Has contributed to the spread of awareness of the Real Estate Act 2016 across the southern states of Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. He has conducted workshop on RERA in CA Institutes, CS Institutes, Nardeco Karnataka, Credai Mysore, and other chapters. He has been practicing in the field of RERA since 2016. He is a Rotarian since past 14 years, member of Rotary Rajmahal Vilas, Bangalore, and he is a co-author of RERA Practice Manual Maharashtra, published by Taxman. With this brief introduction, I present before you Advocate E. Suhail Ahmed. Both Vinay, Thyagaraj sir, and Suhail Ahmed sir would be handling this session. Over to you, sir. Sorry. I request VM Tuppat to come out to dais and then hand over him a bouquet of flowers. Sorry.
This you go there. Come this way.
Thank you. Over to you.
You take mic. Mele. I'll get down. Huh? No, we can. Huh? I think we can remove this. Yeah. No, to write on something. Namaskar, ellargu.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning. Everybody is sitting quiet. Huh? Hope more breakfast or no breakfast? No entertainment. Okay, let's start the entertainment. IPL is over. So let's start the RERA. Okay, very good morning to all. No. It's a workshop. It's not something like you come and only watch. It's a workshop is end with the introduction. You share your opinion. We'll share our opinion. You may accept or you may not accept for it. Okay, let's exchange our ideas about RERA. So me and Suhail Ahmed both will be talking together on the subject RERA. And it's a workshop. It's not something a seminar where I will be delivering what I want. You also pick up your pen and book and you start writing whatever I say. And of course, you should write whatever I say. It's not you wanted to write something which is not relevant to RERA. So with this small my welcome, me and Suhail both would be talking together on the subject where even though the topics of my topic was first, then is second about that. Okay, we'll try to mix both and express our opinion on each topic and provisions together so that it would be a more effective and more practical also. So with this, let's start the session on RERA.
Good morning, everyone. And I thank the Bangalore branch of SIRC for having given me this opportunity. And I remember we did this in December also. And I'm sure if some of you have attended the December session, some of the things may feel repetitive, but I think we need to reinforce the knowledge again and again so that those of you who are practicing in the field of RERA are able to understand the subject better, and just like our chief guest said, that you're able to do justice to what you're doing. And the emphasis on the role that the chartered accountants play, particularly when it comes to RERA, because the core, if I say, the heart of the whole thing is the financial management. So the act aims at making sure that the projects are managed financially well, so that the money that is collected from the allottees, and if I say, all of us are also allottees here, because we also need homes and we also buy from these promoters. So it is our money which is lying with the promoters, and then if the financial management of a project is not done properly, then the whole project collapses, and we have seen many projects collapsing because of mismanagement and everything. So with the coming of RERA, I'm sure most of you have seen that many projects are not doing well. Why they are not doing well was because earlier, before RERA coming into play, the promoters were free to use money from one project to another project, divert their funds. Now they are not able to do that. So what is happening is the projects which were doing a little bad, they have started doing worse, because now they are not able to take money and use it elsewhere. And that you're ensuring that that doesn't happen, because it is your certificates which are used, or which come into play, saying that the money in this project is remaining in this project. And of course, we always say that anybody who practices on RERA should know the statute, in the sense, the core sections on which you have to rely on to issue your certificates, to do your professional duties. You should know all of that. We'll try our best to take you through the provisions and also the broader aspects of RERA. And we would like this to be interactive. So I would certainly appreciate that we get more questions than what we are talking. So we would like to answer your questions and make it interactive so that the learning is better. Yeah.
Just before I start, how many of you are listening to a RERA topic first time? Raise full hand. Half means you heard somewhere, full means is the first time. Oh, quite number of participants. How many are actively practicing on RERA? Very nice. Okay, good. So many of you are first time listeners on the RERA topic, and also knowing this, let's start with the basics itself. When we hear about real estate, what all will come to your mind? We have 80 participants. I want 80 answers minimum. Huh? Okay. Development of, okay, plots, then construction, then construction of apartment, then residential, commercial, then don't look at my handwriting, okay? Huh? Joint development, right? Redevelopment, then
cooperative housing society,
funders, okay? Then
cooperative society development,
society, then what else? Pardon, sir? Good money, okay, then what, sir? Fraud, okay, then huh? Commission, then brokerage, marketing, then what else? Yeah, funding or investment, okay, then escrow account, then politicians, Where are we now? Yeah. I'm confused. Yes.
You can put them along with the promoters.
Politicians, then amenities, then CS, then engineers, architects, advocates, then approvers, right? NOCs. ಕೊಟ್ಟುಬಿಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೇನು ವಾಟ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ನೋ ಕನ್ನಡ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಡಿಲೇಸ್ ದೆನ್ ಡಿಲೇ OCs cancellation then okay that's you talking RERA madam you have to come up now okay okay then TDR then litigation then authorized unauthorized okay okay documentation basically right then car park open car park contractors okay lawn mafias whom what do you call them huh? Is any heading in GST this category huh? Huh? Land okay this you can write whatever you want it sir okay then what else will come to your mind okay there are compliances which may be GST which may be income tax which may be something else right then approvals then
the advanced ITT batch start.
What else? Carpet area, FSI, then 70-30, then what else? The moment you hear about real estate, the transaction, business, what else you will hear? Who all involved in this entire transaction? Developer, first is landowner, developer, customer, then banks, then RERA authorities, then contractors, very good, then agents, then whom will you hear? Whom else you hear? Labor, employees, labor, workers, right? Yeah, statutory bodies. Then what else? Very good. Somebody is really know about documents, sir. Okay. Allotment letter. Then, sir, application first, right? Booking form, application, agreement of sale, sale deed, brochure, then sir, what else?
Digital marketing.
KYC, that is the documents, then floor plan, master plan, then sir, marketing, somewhere we had written digital marketing, real marketing, virtual marketing, right? Then start and end date, okay, RERA approval, then OCCC, okay, then what else? Title report, very good, then project name, then what else? Banks, funding investment, the banks, financial institutions, right? Then what else? Quarterly compliance, annual audit report, then what? I'm talking about real estate, then we'll come to RERA. EC, encumbrance certificate, then RTC, then Khata, then alienation. Then release it. I think one day is not sufficient. Then why I'm writing is we will end up discussing each one of this. Then MCLR plate, mortgage, hypothecation, MCLR, right? Then what? Okay. Bank NOCs, then pardon, sir? Default payments, okay. What else? Cancellation, reimbursement. I've written somewhere cancellation here, reimbursement. Next question. What is your experience with this industry? You tell about the experiences.
You'll have to tell them as either professionals or as customers.
Tell me that, what are
We are both
if you look at
customers.
the experience, right?
Mhm.
What is that? On barala, ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ಬರಲ್ಲ. Meter ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡ್ತೀಯ? Right? We have some experience the moment we see. That's our past experience, or we used to hear about that from many people. What is your experience about this industry? Lack of transparency. Or lack, I thought lot of transparency. Okay. Can you fit there somewhere? Second item. Then what? Unethical, unscrupulous, unorganized. Then
Wrong assurance.
okay, it's only a cash, physical. I don't believe virtual, right? Then wrong assurances, litigations. Then what subject it can't fill in this room. We have to hire entire building or entire area to fill, right? Our experiences. Exactly. So this is the real estate, the real estate. Okay, it's a always it's a real. And whatever we have, whatever I mentioned on this, you end up with having all this nomenclature. You will start hearing once you looking at RERA, once you practice on RERA, once you advise on RERA to your clients. As a GST, you look at only one aspect of it. As an income tax, you look at only one aspect of it. If you are an advocate or property advisor, you look at legal part of it. If you are a chartered accountant, you advise on profitability or due diligence part of it. The moment RERA comes into picture, the culmination of all is the RERA. If you say, sir, I know RERA, I practice RERA, then you should know all aspects of this. It's a combination of all professions into this. You need not to do, it's not like Dashavatar, like you need not to have all the hands, 10 heads, but you should have a team to address it. When something comes to you, example, somebody mentioned sanction plan. Somebody should be able to read what is this sanction plan is all about. What is there in the sanction plan? And how, whether whatever be the customer or the builder saying is the same what is there in on the paper. Many a time we say something and what is there on the paper is different because of various reasons, lack of knowledge or either ignorance or arrogance. There is nothing, there is no in between. I don't want to know or I know everything. Okay, so this is how this industry works. Industry is running all along. Next question is, what is required for somebody to get into this business? What is the qualification? Money. Sir, money is not the qualification, sir. Otherwise, many of our parents wouldn't have made us to be a chartered accountant today, right?
No, you're talking.
Ability to face the risk or accept the risk, right? So what would be the qualification? Good, that is a one quality required somebody to get into this business. Then appetite of risk is should be there for them. Expertise, okay. Is that what is that we see in this industry? No entry barrier, right? Anybody and everybody can become a business, part of the business of real estate, right? A small iron wala in your in your front house, in a house, you mentioned 2 BHK house is for sale. Have you seen? A mitai wala says that 2 BHK for sale. Everybody and everybody is selling the properties. Somebody comes to my office, sir, nam project ondide sir nodtira. Nam client on project ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೀವು ನೋಡ ನೀವು ಯಾರು ತಗೊಳ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು. So invariably there is a conversation of the real estate in everyone's life. It is part and parcel of the life. Somebody talk every day, somebody may talk once in a year, or somebody talk when somebody approaches. But invariably there is something for us to interact on real estate. That is a one aspect of it. As mentioned, there is no entry barrier. Anybody can get into this business. Do you have any business which anybody can enter? Anybody can enter, yes, anybody can enter into many of the businesses. But to do something before it deliver, mean to say that you enter into the business, before deliver, you realize the money. Have you seen any business? Collect money before delivery. You have any businesses? You have to think, really think. That's what it's called, workshop. Right? Cinema. Now that is you pay and watch, sir.
What?
There are two ways.
Seen a review.
There are, yeah. There are two ways. You purchase a ticket and watch, and you come out easily. Second way, you enter without ticket. To exit, you have to pay. Okay? Platinum tickets that. Okay, right? So many things are that. But this is industry is a very different industry. Before you product, before you produce, before you manufacture, before you keep it, many a time I don't know what is I'm going to deliver. How many of you experience this? Many a time nobody knows what he going to deliver except what is there on the brochure. Who prepared this brochure? A designer prepare it, right? Who market it?
Yes.
The marketing, your agents market it. Who construct it? A builder construct it. And who funds it? Banks or investor funds it. Who buy it? Customer. Then who am? Who am I? Who am I? You are so-called a builder, developer, promoter, right? Your job is ensure that everybody is on the same language, everybody is on the same line. That is what is important as the businessman of this industry. That's very important. If everybody talking of their own versions, what will happen? There is no delivery at all, only pains. So that would be the impact of it. Having said, you know, we have spoken various aspects of it. Exactly, that is the reason this act is in place. On the screen, you can see that the objectives of the act start with the accountability. Who is accountable now? Pre-RERA, who are accountable? To whom it is accountable? I'm not looking at only a builder perspective. I wanted everybody, because we have mentioned about various stakeholders, the landowners, the developer, the customer, the bankers, contractor, agents. They're all RERA authorities, government authorities, statutory bodies. Everybody are called stakeholders of this industry. I'm a real genuine businessman. I wanted to deliver a good home. When I file an application before the planning authority, do you think that automatically it will come like a direct benefit scheme? The moment you apply, I get the money. Press the ATM, will I get it? What will happen? When I file an application for approval of anything or obtaining the NOCs, what is the procedure I should follow? File it, pay the fees, then will you get it, sir? Then? Huh? Then?
List of documents related to project.
Will we get? Not about RERA registration, plan approval, you take it. What will happen?
All title documents.
I give everything, sir. I satisfy everything. Will I get it? What will be, how it will be get, how do you get it? Huh? How do you get it? Who is responsible for that? Government. Who is government? Who are government? We are the government, right? Whom should be blamed? I don't have a patience, right? I don't have a patience to wait for 2 months, 1 month, 15 days. Right? We want everything is a fast track, like 50. Those days, our parents used to watch, what is that called? Cricket. 5 days is called test match. Then 50 comes. Now 20. I don't know what is next. So that's what so. So when we say accountability, it is not about only a builder is accountable. Entire ecosystem is accountable for that. I completely constructed my property to give a keys to you to go and live. I require an occupancy certificate. Again, I have to be depending on somebody. That is called accountability. That person has to be accountable to do his job. Next is the transparency. We all know that how much is transparent. Right? Not only the money it matters in terms of what goes into the product itself. Many a time, by looking at what you purchase the property, real estate project, brochure, right? How much is the transparent? Sorry, it is not transparent, sir. You can't see inside. You have to turn the pages only, right? How much is transparent? Of course, we also look at only the good things there. Even we can't see something which is not okay, right? So transparency is the utmost, the one of the pillar of this act. During the day, we'll explain how much this has transpired to the transparency. Next is about professionalism. I don't say it was not professionalism, like now it mandates and it built in various aspects, like bringing a professionalism to the industry itself, not to the project or not to the builder, to the industry itself. They're trying to bring a professionalism into this. Then the information, symmetry of information. I explained that each of the stakeholders talk on different language, right? The contractor says, sir, it takes 2 years to complete. You ask the salesperson, sir, 1 year, sir. Yes, sir. We started, sir. Already people are on the track, sir. Ask your purchase fellow, sir, we are not even raised the tenders at all. So there is symmetry of information amongst themselves and amongst all the stakeholders. You as a customer, you should have a same information in which what the builder has it and what the government has it. So same information has to flow from top to bottom. And the responsibilities both on promoter and allottees. It is not only on the promoter aspects of it, even allottees. So during the program, during the session, we'll explain you in terms of what are the responsibilities of the allottees also in the project. Then about regulatory, you have heard Mr. Reddy sir in terms of his part of the real estate regulatory, like establish a regulatory mechanism to regulate this industry and also develop the industry. It is not only a regulation part of it, there is a development part of it. And also a dispute resolution. You can take last two. Establish the fast track dispute resolution is the objective of the chapter.
So before coming of RERA, if an allottee had a grievance against a promoter, first he has to establish the relationship of being a consumer. And then he has to establish that there is a deficiency in service. With these two, then you approach a consumer forum. For what could you approach a consumer forum? What is the relief the consumer forums would give? Anybody? What is the prayer that you can make before consumer forum? Only compensation. So there was any wrong that was made by the promoter, you could not remediate. Simple, for a simple in an apartment, you had some shortages in terms of the workmanship. The workmanship is not proper. What you had to do is that you had to rectify that and then go before the consumer saying that because of his deficiency, I had to do it and this is the money that I have spent. Please compensate me. So that was the only relief. Or the second relief is when the promoter has received money and is not coming forward to deliver the property by giving you the sale deed. So the only relief then you had was either if there is an arbitration clause, you go before the arbitrator. If there is no arbitration clause, then you go to the civil courts, which take forever for the dispute to be settled. So now with the coming of RERA, of course, earlier before coming of RERA, we had COFA, which is almost similar to RERA. If you see COFA and RERA, 70% of both these statutes are similar in nature. COFA came in 1972. What did it lack? The regulatory mechanism, which is an authority to enforce that. So COFA did not have the regulatory body was not appointed under COFA, though it required the promoters to do everything similar to what is there in RERA, but there was no regulatory mechanism, there was no regulatory body. Now with the coming of RERA, I was recently quoting this, that people are now saying that the tile joints, what were shown in the model apartment were something else, what is delivered is something else. It's become so minute. You can even raise a dispute about the smallest of thing, which is what RERA has enabled. It has given power to an allottee to air his grievance and hope to get that to be redressed. And most often than not, it is getting redressed. Of course, we are still in the regulatory phase. The development phase is yet to set in. We are 7 years into RERA, and if you see the nomenclature of the act itself, it says Regulation and Development Act. So the development bit of it, of course, would be more for the promoters to get the aid in terms of getting sanctions. What Vinay was talking, what do you do when you apply for it? You don't get it. You don't get OCs. You don't get sanctions. So that aspect, the entire ecosystem is still not evolved to implement the act completely. But yes, we are moving in that direction. When that happens over a period of time, the act has to mature. But now the dispute regulation, the resolution mechanism, we can air our grievance with the authority with respect to anything in the project. You can go with the smallest bit of the grievance, like the promoter is not giving me information. You can file a complaint. You can say they have not given me the plan sanctions. I don't know anything about the project. You can file a complaint. You can say they are not forming the association. You can say they are not handing over the corpus to me. So all these small bits are before the authorities now being heard. And there is a time stipulated, of course, with the sheer numbers that we have, the times are not being adhered to, just like our chief guest said that there is a backlog, but nevertheless, that is happening now. So both the dispute resolution mechanism which RERA has brought in has kind of, it's revolutionary in terms of the kind of grievances that you can put forth, and there is a time stipulated. We have the authority, we have an adjudicating officer, we have the appellate tribunal, and then we go higher into the high courts. So all kind of disputes are being heard now, and this was not present earlier, and now with the coming of RERA, one of the main objectives is the dispute resolution, and we have a regulatory body in place. Yeah. And next one. So the act, how many of you know the date when the act came into force? The act is 2016, when the operative portions of the 17. So 1st May 2017, the act came into force, is when all the sections came into force. Yeah. And as of 1/5/2016, those portions of the act came into force which enabled the state governments to constitute the authorities, notify the rules and regulations. So the state governments, the central government enacted the act and asked the state governments to do everything else that is required. And as of 1/5/2000, including operationalizing the web portals of each authority. So this is what was required of all the state governments between 1/5/2016 to 1/5/2017. So all the operative portions of the act came into force on 1/5/2017. And after 1/5/2017, all the ongoing projects were which did not have completion certificate as on the date of the commencement of the act. It became mandatory for them to register their projects, and everything else came into play.
And as I mentioned, this is a central act. Central government of India has enacted this, and which is applicable to entire India, including Jammu and Kashmir. There is no exception to it, including Jammu and Kashmir. This act is applicable. And the power vested with the government, it has given power to the state government to notify the rules and also supervise, monitor it, regulate. The powers are with the state government to monitor and also regulate this act itself. So with that, most of the states have notified the rules and also appointed the RERA authorities. So the moment I say RERA authority, there is a composition of a RERA authority, there is a chairman and there is a members. So what we had today morning is one of the member of the authority, like the chairman is the highest authority in the RERA, and also there is a members along with him. So with this, like most of the states have implemented, most of the states have notified the rules and also appointed the RERA authorities also. And most of the authorities are working. This is what is the latest updates in terms of 28 states and UTs have updated, and also the northeastern states have something which is related to the land laws, which is unsettled or not much much related to the land related laws. Those states have yet to come forward and notify and also appoint the authorities. Apart from that, most of the states have appointed and also operationalized. Recently, West Bengal has its own act itself, and with the Supreme Court order, they have struck
The
down
enactment, the WB-HERA, the West
WB-HERA,
was
they
struck
were enacted against the central act. The Supreme Court has struck down in terms of there cannot be a what effect is that? You cannot have your own law when there is a central law exists. So now West Bengal is also has the rules, notified the rules, and also appointed the authority and started functioning as recent as January. So this is the update. About 1 lakh plus real estate projects have been registered across India, and about 1 lakh plus complaints have been registered also. This is the composition of Karnataka. We have Mr. Kishore Chandra, the retired IPS, is the chairman of the authority. Ms. Neelamani Raju is also a IPS officer, retired, is one of the member. And we have heard Mr. Reddy sir. Reddy sir is a retired IRS. And we have the Mr. Ibrahim Maigur is IAS officer, who is the secretary. So this is the, they are the main custodians of the RERA authority in the state of Karnataka.
And incidentally, Karnataka was the first state which appointed a retired IPS officer as the chairman. I think, as I know, another authority has also appointed a
proposed to appoint.
And if you can go back.
This one.
So in terms of as chartered accountants, your knowledge or your accountability towards what you do in terms of issuing certificates, the knowledge of what to do when. I'll give you a simple example. Can somebody tell me, when do you issue a certificate that the project is completed? Can somebody tell me? Under RERA, if any of you are issuing certificates, when is the time when you say that the project is completed and you can issue a certificate saying that the project is completed? Anybody? Based on architect completion certificate? OC? After OC is received.
Whatever is the budget we have spent.
The estimated cost, you've incurred the cost. Okay. Anything else? So can somebody tell me what development means under RERA? What does it involve? Promised amenities? Okay. Okay. Has any of you issued a certificate? Nobody? Anybody who has issued a certificate saying project is completed? Or and the Form 7, the annual audit after completion, has anybody issued? You have issued? Okay. So have you read the act? The definitions of development work? Okay. Have you read the definition of the occupancy certificate under RERA? Has anybody read the definition of occupancy certificate? So what we generally know is not what RERA requires. So it's much more in-depth knowledge that you need for, when I was talking about accountability. So how you are accountable. So the definition of occupancy certificate under RERA, it also, while it says that certificate issued by a competent agency, along with provision for water, sanitation and electricity.
You have to read section 2ZF.
Okay.
Open the second booklet of act. Read.
So it's
2ZF.
not as simple that the promoter gives you the occupancy certificate. Sir, I want to report completion. Please prepare a certificate. I have spent this much money. It doesn't mean that. You cannot issue a certificate saying project is completed merely on the basis of the occupancy certificate. Now, we'll also see what development works means.
The section 2T talks about development work. Development work means the external development works and the internal development works. You should remember
So,
there are internal and
and
external
external.
development.
So
Look at
if-
what is internal development, what is external development works.
broadly classify what do you understand by internal and external development works in relation to a real estate project?
What will come to
Can
your
some-
mind when we say internal?
Sorry,
All the
internal.
Internal to
What
what?
is external?
STPs.
Where, which road? Inside the project or outside the project? Okay, so let's read the definitions then.
Read what is internal development. Section 2ZB is internal development works. Means roads, footpath, water supply, sewers, drain, parks, tree planting, street lighting, provision for community buildings and for treatment and disposal of the sewage, sludge, water. Solid waste management and disposal of water conservation, energy management, fire protection and fire safety requirement. Social infrastructure such as education, health and public amenities or any other work in a project for its benefit as sanctioned plan. This is a definition of
Internal.
definition of all along what we were thinking. This is right. So these are inside the project is called internal development work.
So you'll have to lay emphasis on the last as per the sanctioned
Sanctioned
plans. So which means that anything that a sanctioned plan requires a promoter to construct or develop would be deemed as the internal development works. So how do you now say that the architect issues certificate? I will also issue certificate. Do you see what all these internal works are completed?
How many of you seen occupancy certificate? Right? Will you see all this part of occupancy certificate?
It is not there. It simply says application
Occupancy
is
certificate
made.
issued for the structure of the building only. This structure is
Not anymore. Of course, I'll differ from Vinay because the new BBMP bylaws require that everything should be completed. When you file an application for the completion certificate, when you give the completion
Occupancy.
certificate now, when you make an application for OC, all of this is to be completed. The architect who issues the completion certificate for applying, making an application for OC under the new bylaws of BBMP. Of course, if it is the project falls within the ambit of BBMP, then the architect is supposed to say that all amenities are completed, which is what is the internal development works. Now let's read what is external development works. Yes. 5 phases. Yes, yes. If it is so promised to an allottee, the project at the time of launching itself, let's say that there are 10 towers to be developed in 5 phases, 2 towers each. When the promoter launches the project, if for the first people in the first phase, he has said that the community hall or the clubhouse and all the amenities will come along with the 5th phase, then the project can be developed in the manner as you're talking. Okay. No, partial occupancy certificates are issued. Partial for that particular phase or tower, let's say 2 towers along with some basic amenities is promised. If the promoters, there are many projects where the promoters promise along with the first phase that I will complete the clubhouse, then they are expected to complete the clubhouse along with the first phase itself. RERA approves. No, corporation also gives partial OCs. For 2 towers alone, partial OCs are being issued, and they are being relied upon to say that that particular phase is completed. That's fine. But then you'll have to go back and see how it was promised to you. What is the brochure given to you? How did you buy into the project? If you're the allottee, how did you buy in? Or if you are the chartered accountant who see, you should go back and see as to what was promised, what has been promised, how it was launched, what was said at the beginning. If you said that the clubhouse will come in the first stage itself, then you have to make sure that the clubhouse is completed for you to be able to issue a certificate saying that it is completed. Also, and in the brochure, in the advertisements also to the customers. So you have the duty to go into some of the documents also. Yes, sir. Cannot be now. Then you will have to read all the documents together, which enabled you or which made you buy into the project, to see whether what is promised is later on or at that point of time.
And the challenge will come in terms of, okay, when will you make the payment? At the 5th phase or the first phase itself? First phase itself, where will that money goes into? That has to be used for the purpose of development of that clubhouse. Now, if you collected the first phase and the 5th phase will come after 3-4 years.
Costing say 5 crores. Each phase below person will contribute 1 crore. So the first phase they will collect only 1 crore.
Yeah.
They can't complete the clubhouse.
Exactly. So this is the entire structure and the scheme of the project. One should understand. Second is in terms of how I'm relying on, how the authority also regulating them. So when I promise that I'll give the clubhouse at the 5th phase, by mere handing over my tower, can I exit from RERA? Can I say it is complete? My obligations are completed for RERA. Exactly. Because your promises are not delivered to you, because you have promised that clubhouse. That means to say you continue to have this till what you end up with delivery. So when we say that something RERA, no, sir, it is not, because he's already communicated, right? It's communicated that this would be delivered along with the 5th phase. But you should know that when would be the 5th phase would be delivered. It is not for lifetime. So you should have a reasonable answer. 5th tower would be completed by 2028 or 2027. So that used to be, sir, but post-RERA it has so come that whatever promised us that basics are delivered at the time of phase 1 itself, like a clubhouse, like a community hall, maybe 1 or 2 at the biggest level. Maybe they have some beautification, some of the parks they wanted to have it. that would be for the bigger picture. But now it is changed, and many of the authorities are also insisting when you are end up with collecting huge money, something to be delivered at the last. They're saying that either you deliver first now or you collect payment later. The authorities are also started looking at, because you don't know what will happen in 2028, what would be the business call and all. Okay. So that is what we try to say. You should understand what is development work in the project, what is internal development, what is external development. If you complete this development work, internal and external development, it called as a completion.
We look
Mere
at the-
receipt of occupancy certificate
Is
is not.
So let's look at the external development works now. So
Two, yes, sorry.
two W,
Two
W.
W.
So external development works includes road and road systems, landscaping, water supply, sewerage and draining system, electricity supply transformer, substation, solid waste management and disposal, or any other work which may have to be executed in the periphery of or outside a project for its benefit as may be provided under local laws. So in case of large projects, we know that the electricity lines have to be drawn from kilometers. Sometimes the transformers have to be erected outside. The water lines have to be brought to the project. If at all you have a BWSB water supply, so the water connection has to be brought from there. Who executes this work? Who pays for this work? But that may also happen sometimes, saying that this is the person who enabled the promoter to do this wrong. So please.
If you look at that,
Sorry.
the member mentioned is, rather than we go back and cure, we wanted to prevention itself. So prevention is in terms of the moment you exercise what is really provisions of RERA, you can prevent it. It will not end up with something, the curing. So one of that also including enable them to withdraw the money from the project for other than for the project itself. I'm sure the transformer, if it is purchased, there's an entry in the transformer and also purchase of a transformer. Will that be sufficient for me to satisfy myself? Look at the BESCOM NOC which they have given. It says 1250 kV I required. So what transformer I should purchase? For 1250, at least I should purchase 1000 or 1100. If purchase only 250, that what do you mean by that? So we should look at that. We should correlate. Your estimated cost is for what? 250 or 1250? Right? So you were incurred only for 250 kVA. That means some shortfall. And you receive the certificate from architect and engineer. At least you are sitting and listening to the RERA. They never, I never heard that they sat and sit for a session on RERA, except for not 2 sessions we have taken. So how do you expect them also to be like this? Like they also say, na hogidu sir, alittu sir, barkotu. And many a time we receive a certificate with the blank, with the seal and signature. Sir, ni barkoli sir, yen bekadru you want. So this is what
Sorry,
is that
you had
I
to-
wanted to.
So the budgeting for in the book of account, you will get only the actual cost.
Yes, sir.
Budget is
Perfect.
Just certify. If the budget is 100 crore and the builder spent 99 crore, we can say 99% it is complete. But actually the budget is increased to 110 crore. So that 10 crore, the builder will not tell you now, they will tell after next year. So, they will play.
Sir, for that, you have to go into the deep of that. Perfectly what you said is correct. Read the definition of estimated cost, section 2V. Let's come. What is estimated cost? Estimated cost of a real estate project means the total cost involved in developing the real estate project and includes the land cost, taxes, cess, development and other charges. Right? It has the land cost, development cost, NOC, cess, various charges, right? This is called estimated cost of the real estate project. That you will mention as part of your application, and every CS certificate, there is something called estimated cost of the project. Right? When will I prepare this estimated cost? Tell me. Before you start the project. right? Before RERA, right? No, prior to RERA, what was my practice? For their cost of estimated cost? Now, only the few promoter used to budget or estimate the cost of the project. Or majority, medium and small, okay, let's go, let's see. When the cost comes, I'll do it. Now I have to, if not precise, at least to the nearest to the precise, I have to calculate the estimated cost of the project, right? We talks about land cost and the development cost. What do you mean by development? What all development include? What is the development cost? Where do I refer my development? Where is the development cost?
I have
Yeah.
it. I have it.
So it is defined in the rules, in RERA rules, which is notified by
Rule
Karnataka.
5, which deals with withdrawal of sums deposited in separate bank account. That's not there in that.
No, this
It's not there in that. So rule 5, for the purpose of subclause D of clause L of subsection 2 of section 4, the land cost means the costs incurred by the promoter for acquisition of ownership and title of the land parcels for the real estate project as an outright purchase, lease, etc., or the guidance value in accordance with section 45B of Karnataka Stamp Act relevant on the date of registration of the real estate project, whichever is higher. Number 2 is amount paid for acquisition, purchase of TDR, etc. And 3 is amount paid to competent authority for project approval, no objection certificate, stamp duty, transfer charges, registration charges, conversion charges, change, taxes, statutory payments to state and central government. So how many of us have looked into this definition? You have? Okay. So what is next? Next comes cost of construction. So what does cost of construction what does it mean under the rules?
Cost of construction shall include all such costs incurred by the promoter towards the on-site cost, off-site cost, fees, charges, premium, interest on borrowings, and payment to paid any competent authority, central or state government. This is what is mentioned as the construction cost. So considering that you have read what is estimated cost of the construction, which is land cost and the construction cost. Rule define what is estimated cost of construction and the development cost. When I estimate item number 1, land cost, estimate construction cost, right? Under land cost, I'll pay pure land how much, TDR how much, approval cost how much, right? And any compensation paid for any of the dwellers to vacate that land. Each item I put it 400, 300, 200 and 100. Total I'll make it as 900. Each item I am estimated. It is not I put 900 there, against 900 I am not looking at that. I am putting each of that as a separately. Looking at the construction cost, pure construction cost, off-site cost, on-site cost, off-site cost, payment of taxes and the interest borrowings. Each of things I have to estimate for this project. Why I am saying is we receive various application and various CA forms, consolidated everything and put it one. The reason why I have said is each you have estimated, okay, and each you have to mention at each CA certificate. If I don't have a borrowing, will I have an interest there? No, right? So that is the importance of it. Somebody have a project cost of 500 rupees for a same 100 apartment. Somebody may have only 450 rupees. The 50 rupees may be due to the interest cost. So as the authority and as a authority, one should know that what is that you're developing. How are you developing? How are you raising the money? Where is the source of money for you? What is the interest card? What is the cost of that project? Each of that should be a separate always, because many a time while issuing the certificate, the reason may be the promoter will file the application, he might not maintain this breakup. And if he doesn't have it, he may not be able to give it to you. And he doesn't give, he come 15th morning, 10 o'clock, he comes, sir, 12 o'clock, I want the certificate, and 4 o'clock, I have to upload it. What will you do? What will you do? You can't say no to him. Will you say no to him? Why? Huh? You want a client at what cost? Is a question, right? You want a client, okay, and bigger than the client is your certificate of practice. You should remember that. That is a bigger than your client and the fees. Why I am saying is during the presentation, I'll explain what all can happen. If we, it is not that in every case it will happen. Okay, one case is sufficient for us to pull out before the authority for the complaints also. The reason which I say that when I say estimated cost, while issuing a certificate, you have to certify against each estimates how much is incurred. It is not total. Okay, it is not total. It restricts only to the estimate, not beyond that. Your construction cost 500 means you have to restrict yourself to the 500. If you spend 520, you will not allow more than 500. Because he may
Sorry,
offset that.
I didn't get what you said. Even I didn't get what you.
Yeah, each has a estimate.
Are you not, what you're saying is you're not allowed to spend more than the estimated cost
Of 70%.
of 70?
Of 70%. Because 70% is restricted to your estimated cost. If your estimated cost has limitations, you are not allowed to withdraw more than 70%. The reason is, if you read in depth about what is that mentioned, section 4.2 LD, again is that each estimate. If you are not estimated, then how are you withdrawing it? Exactly.
Everything.
Construction as a whole at the primary level, maybe at the secondary level, heading, subheading, at each part you can do it. This is what the PMC fellows will do, or at the engineer level, they will do it. Okay. 1 or 2% variances are okay, sir, because we have seen 200 crores is the interest cost they have estimated and 600 crores already incurred. Then where is the money for my construction? You have seen some of the projects are delayed. How many years?
During corona time.
2 years. For 2 years, how much would be the cost of borrowing?
So this happened in corona time. We have to pay for the 2 years.
Yeah.
Banks are not giving any relief.
Obviously no, sir. Huh? Yeah. Huh? Every, huh? ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್ ಸರ್ ಕಾಫಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಿಲ್ಸಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. Okay. So that we should understand that, because I have seen the project running 5 years, 6 years, 8 years delay. Still they're accumulating interest cost. Their construction is only 10%, 20% completed, and interest is 500% of what is estimated. And CS are allowing to withdraw that money. If I allow to withdraw for the purpose of what is not estimated, then where is the money for the estimate which already is given? This is a question mark. Post coffee break, will yeah.
We have to surplus the estimated cost because in case of.
You should plan it such a way, consider the inflation, consider the past record, consider the pricing mechanism, marketing condition. Estimate itself is an art, madam. Okay. You can always revise that there is a process. So welcome back. So ಪಂಪಣ್ಣ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಸರ್ A to Z of RERA ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ, ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು. ಓಕೆ. Okay. So somebody was asking in the coffee break, sir, how do we know more about RERA? How do we know more about RERA? We have to read more about RERA, that's all.
No, the best way to know RERA is to practice it. When you say practice it, you actually practice it. In the sense, when you accept a brief. So when you accept a brief, that's when you get questions and you get curious. If you're curious to learn, then you'll obviously learn. So that's the best way. For us professionals, somebody else pays us to learn. So that's the best thing about us. So if somebody else's problem, they come to us and we learn by taking fees from them. So anywhere else you have to pay to learn. Here you get money to learn. So that's the best thing about professionals.
Yeah.
So I think Vinay, you can do section 4 to
Yeah,
end
yeah,
D now.
we'll go, okay,
Okay.
so, in terms of for somebody to learn, somebody to understand, first you should know what all we should know first to open it. If I know something, then I can go and search there. If I don't know anything, then even searching would be a challenge. The sequence or the hierarchy is the act. We all know that RERA Act 2016, Karnataka RERA Rules 2017, Karnataka RERA Regulation 2022, and also various notifications, directions, circulars which are issued by the authorities, and the format which are notified by the authority. So entire if you put all this information or the knowledge, you will fairly know that, okay, these are all the things I should refer it. But each of them depends on the situation, circumstances. You have to go back, read, understand the way that we income tax. It's about how many years now? 1961 to how many years? Yeah, 2-3 generations have retired also. Still we are reading it. Still we are understanding. Still we are.
You amend it each year, so you
Yeah,
have to keep reading.
Still the cases are, we are filing before Supreme Court on section 2, the definition of income itself, right? So that extent there is a important knowledge from time to time, depends on the change, scenario to scenario, time and circumstances. So this is what one should know to know about it. How many of you have purchased Act and the rules? Huh? That's your come now, sir. Okay. Yeah. So institute is really like in terms they accepted, okay, we'll print and distribute that also. Okay. It all depends on, like, if you say that I wanted to practice RERA and without buying an act, is it fair? You tell me. I know that you have WhatsApp, you have now internet, okay, but still we have to buy it. It is not a big piece. This is the act book. Yeah, now we have given, okay. That is not a book, it's a piece of paper. I'm sure that if you carry that itself for a longer period, then it would be good. Okay. So you should read rules, you should download and print the regulation, forms notified, what are the forms notified, which form should be used for what purposes. Not only for the CA certificate, there are various forms, certificate format which are notified for various activities, for registration few things, for modification few, for extension few, for change of bank account. So we should understand for each activity what is there, what is not there.
One more point. That estimate, we should do it after plan approval or
at any point of time, because this information should go to the RERA application. At least prior to RERA application, one should be ready with that, because without this information,
plan approval comes a first July. So the operational expenses will be there like
you can all put, sir. See, one is it's an estimate. It cannot be accurate. It's an estimate. How do you prepare my estimate? Based on my past experience, past practices, previous project, looking at the market environment, market condition, or you might have entered with contract with your suppliers, vendors, service providers, right? So PMC fellow would have been given 2% is my cost, right? Your contractor would have given 2,000 rupees per square feet, my cost of construction. Your lender would have been given 50 crore rupees advance for 12% for next 4 years. So you'll have overall picture of the estimated cost. You have to compile it, arrive it, add something to it for the cost which you unforesee it, and make it as a estimated cost. Maybe if you arrive at 110, make it 120 or 125. Okay. Always on the higher side of 5 to 10%, because I have, at least I have not come across many projects which is below the estimate. Till now I've seen only 2-3 projects they able to complete within the estimate and lesser than the estimate, but most of the project exceeds the estimate in terms of the construction. If some sir, at this point of in Karnataka, estimated costs are on the, see, you have given something on the registration. That estimate cost at this point of time is not, there is no system to modify it, because that's the estimated cost you are given at the time of registration. Okay. If you read the engineering certificate, which is form number 6, the last para, if you see that table A, last number, Any other cost which is not included above, something which we have to bring it there, or if something cost which is not in, that is where the other cost will come to you, that only related to engineering cost. Then whatever with other than the engineering cost, at this point of time there is no option, sir. If you say interest cost is 200, if you incur 220, that means you incur over and above 200. Okay, that is what is the important aspect of it, and which I was mentioning what you mentioned as a estimate, and to that extent act permit you to withdraw it. If you open section 4.2 LD of the act, this is the section 4.2 LD is something which is entire financial aspects of RERA, where a chartered accountant should be flattened with that. He should know entire aspect of section 4.2 LD if he practice on RERA, if he certifying that. Okay, 4.2 LD, section 4.2 LD talks about,
You'll see, you'll get it at page 10.
yeah, that 70% of the amounts realized for the real estate project from the allottees from time to time shall be deposited in a separate account to be maintained in a scheduled bank to cover the cost of construction and the land cost, and shall be used only for that purpose. This is a very important section 4.2 LD. One is 70% of the amount realized from whom? From the customer, should be deposited in a which bank? Which bank? Designated RERA account of that project, right? Which shall be opened in scheduled bank, not cooperative bank, not Soharda bank, right? Should be opened in a scheduled bank, right? And to cover that 70% should cover what? Cost of the land and construction, and last part is utmost important, used only for the purpose, for that purpose. If you have given an estimate of this, you can't use it for this purpose. That is the meaning of that. You have to use it for that purpose only. Whatever be the estimate you have given for that purpose, you should use it. That is a section 4.2 LD. Okay, this is the important of it. And if you see the bigger picture of the RERA, start from the preparation till the post and hand completion. It's just a picture for us to know that entire aspect of RERA, entire aspect of the real estate project is captured here. If you ask me what is there in RERA, I will ask a question, what is not there in RERA? RERA is not about financial aspects of it. The moment you come to the permissions, RERA is covered with the permit, like you should have a proper permissions. The quality, the moment quality means which department will come into the play in any organization. In a real estate company, like something approval and plan, which department will come? Licensing, legal will come, right? Due diligence, which department will come? Legal and finance will come, right? Procurement, right? In terms of execution, project or production department. Finance, accounts, funding means accounts and finance, right? In terms of sales, marketing team. And which department is left in an organization? Office boy, housekeeping, then
Admin.
Admin also should do something, attend customers, ask them to go inside, right? Who else is left in an organization? To exclude that, he should not know RERA. HR should identify right person to suit that, right? If they don't know, these are characteristics of a person to suit in a sales, who should know the RERA basically, right? HR plays a very vital role to identify. So earlier, each were at a different, like sales people were never facing the production people, right? Finance people never asking the operation or somebody. Now it is not like legal were never, they were not listening to anybody. Okay. So now it is not the case. Everybody should be at the same pace. Everybody should have a symmetry of information, and everybody should talk to each other. Right? So who will give the estimate of cost? Planning, and they should give, right? Based on what they will give planning? Right, who will give that? Architect, engineer. So whom they should rely? Architect, right? For architect and engineer, who will give the plans? A promoter will some idea. This is what I wanted to deliver here, right? Like heaven on the earth, that is what I want to deliver. You create architecture, right? So you should visit first heaven. Architect should visit the heaven first, right? How heaven looks. So how do I draw heaven, right? So having drawn it, that your production people should give something, what is the quantity or whatever. For that, what is required? Money is required. Who should budget for it? Finance, right? What is the source of it? Banks, promoters, or the marketing customers, right? So this is what is important. Next, somebody should, having this person who arrange the funds, somebody should start constructing. He should give some timelines. Who will give the timelines? Planning will give, but there is some force is there. Your sales people will say, sir, if you complete in 24 months, there is a marketing for it. If you say 240 months, nobody will come and buy it, right? There is a timeline. Your sales and marketing people involved to identify are the product, whether product is viable to sell at this location or not. So it is not that one person I will do in my own way. Earlier also these things were there, but now everybody should talk the same language of it. So that is what I try to say, that like from the preparation to the post completion handover of the project, like you say that business plan, due diligence and feasibility. Then once you start, then you'll have approvals, NOCs, RERA registration. Then the bank funding, developing stage, you will have the, during the development, you have all type of the collection, the quarterly filing, annual audit and compliances to all approval plans, whatever be the plan sanction conditions you received. After that, end of the project, you will obtain whatever be the NOCs for the completion of the project, obtain the professional certificate, do the quality check, okay, and compile all the document, hand over to the association along with your corpus funds, title documentation, and also your plan, approval, designs, drawings, everything to the association. Till that, you are married to the project, okay. Not only the promoter, each professional is also part of this project itself. Then in terms of how used to be the project, like how the project used to operate pre-RERA, okay. Can you see the point number 9 and the point number 1? Pre-RERA point number 9 used to be the first one, right? Earlier, whether with plan, without plan, let me launch, let me test first. Whether there are customers to buy, whether market to accept, then I'll go on. Prepare a product mix itself, whether we need 2 BHK, 3 BHK, we know that expression of interest, right? So what is that you wanted, 2 BHK, 3 BHK, 4 BHK, based on that, I'll go back and prepare my sanction plan itself. Now that days are over. Now the thing, unless you have all these things, you cannot launch the project, okay? To reach that, a small and medium project need at least about 6 months to 1 year. Enter in, do the due diligence, enter into document, obtain the approval, NOCs, right? Apply for RERA registration and come to a launch. It need at least 6 months to 9 months, 12 months. In terms of a larger project, it takes 24 months, 36 months also. That means the stakeholders, either a landowner or a builder, should have ability to withstand, ability to continue in the business. Earlier, they used to pre-launch it, collect some money, that money used to rotate it. Now, the moment, the time at which you come to a launch now, you need about 20% apart from the land cost. Land cost is incurred. Apart from that, you should have at least about 20% your project cost towards your approval cost, NOC charges, deposits, and also do some administrative work. So check whether your client has ability to withstand and market it. The reason is, if it doesn't have it, if somebody comes to you not for RERA, come to you as an advisor for the real estate project itself, you should say that this is where, not the practice, sir, nan loan tagoltini idkoltini sir, it is not permitted. Then I'll convert that into the advance for the plot or a flat. Okay, so you should advise such a way that for you to be in the business, you should have financial ability to withstand. Otherwise, there would be a difference of opinion between, in case of a JD landowner and the builder, or between the partners. Okay, there should be a sufficient money with you in terms of development of the project. This is at the beginning of it. If you look at in the last 1 year or 18 months, of course, Gujarat has this practice of asking the source of funds and the cash flow since 2017, right? Any small project for that PMAY loans, you know that, not PMAY, what is that? Rajiv Gandhi scheme was there. You all remember? What is that called? Rozgar Yojana. What is that, sir?
Prime Minister.
Not Manrega. Those days they
Something
used to have
small.
for PMRY or something. For 50,000, 1 lakh rupees, they used to ask, give me the projection, right? Putting a Xerox shop, bank need a projection, right? Huh? So now for a small business raising the funds, I need a projection. These are real estate project. Authority is a regulatory authority. They are looking at how you complete and develop the project, deliver the project to the customers or the stakeholders. They wanted to know your ability to complete the project irrespective of your sales. Out of 1,000 apartments, you sold only 250 apartments. You're unable to sell 750 apartments, but you have to you have to deliver 1,000 apartments for the sake of this 250. Your ability to withstand and deliver the project in entirety, that means the source of funds. Many a time you look at the balance sheet, how much they will have in the balance sheet? 2 crore rupees. But how big project they are planning? 200 crores, sir. Good, sir. Where is the source of funds? That is what authority is asking now. You give me and prove me you have a sufficient money. At least you prove me 30%, 40%. Or I will raise the loan from the bank. Then you get the principal sanction from the bank. Or I have my personal money, my partner's money. You show me in your balance sheet. So this is what is important. It is not about just filing an application for registration with the checklist of 123 documents.
This also fund the only collection.
Is that possible, sir? Unless you,
No, it
unless
is- How do you collect? In what account? That's not possible now. Section 3 bars collection of any money before
That's after
registration of the project. Before, which means that as a chartered accountant, if you're issuing certificate, you should say 0 per money collected before launch of the project. So which means that if it comes into the books, any money comes into the books as advance towards the project, you have violated section 3. Then you pay it back and then again you take it back? No, you cannot.
no, you should have a proper, it is not that you should have a proper document. In case of a company, it's ruled out in terms of taking the loan from third parties. Other than the company, you can do it. For that, you should have proper documentation. What they practice is different and the law is different.
Finish.
This will be next. At some point of time, we convert it this as a short date and then it is. Not a today, this is nothing. By him to come to the RERA stage, it takes 6 months there.
Yeah.
Is it permitted? What is the problem?
You have taken it as a what?
Unsecured loan from the.
That's all. It's an unsecured loan. Is it permitted? That's all. So there is no further. Your intent of converting that into an advance, right? If that is the intention, okay, then that should not happen. You should educate the client, because somewhere something happened, then trigger the penalties. Okay, we have seen this is there, this is happening, but as a professional, you should explain the.
But then how
risk.
do you bring it back?
No, they continue to show it as a loan only. They have to do the documentation. That you should have documentation. Somewhere if the dispute comes, then would be a challenge. You are carrying the risk of.
There was a complaint.
Yeah.
There was a similar complaint and the allotee succeeded.
Yeah.
In the first stage,
Still
before
before
the
RERA.
authority, the similar complaint, a rift between the so-called investor and the promoter was there.
You can take a loan, sir, because RERA doesn't bar you to take a loan. If you see the format of a chartered accountant and also a form 1, which is initially at the time of registration, you give it what is the source of funds for you. There is a source of funds should be self-attested by the promoter himself. Okay. If you prove that is reasonably that this is possible, then you can take. There is no bar in taking the loan, but collecting the advances from the customer or the future in disguise as a loan. That's a problem, sir. Yeah.
Currently, there is some activity people are collecting expression of interest cash and not depositing that on the after the date of launch.
Yeah.
So for 2-3 months, they keep on collecting the cash. That is.
Before RERA, after RERA.
Before RERA. Before RERA.
Yes, sir.
They don't deposit also. That practice.
Yeah.
Not only small, in fact, even big promoters are doing it.
So
Even the large enterprises are doing it.
now you opened up. Now read section 3. Open section 3. Let's start now.
You can ask now.
If it's related to this, you ask. Otherwise, when
Please,
that
please,
comes,
please ask. Please ask.
No.
Especially for the first part of the land. For land, there are actual income estimated. We have to give. What do we have to give? Should we give the acquired value?
okay, retain it. I will explain in the future slides. Okay. Now read section 3(1). 3 subsection 1. What is the heading talks about? Prior registration of real estate project with real estate regulatory authority. No promoter shall advertise, market, book, sell or offer for sale or invite persons to purchase in any manner any plot, apartment or building as the case may be in any real estate project or part of it in any planning area without registering the real estate project with the real estate authority under this act. What do you mean by that? Whatever you said is okay, sir. Expression of interest comes where? Here.
But actually.
Is it advertising? No. Practice wearing a helmet. Non-wearing a helmet is different than mandatory. Okay, I understood. Okay. Is it advertisement? Is it a market? Book,
Wait, somebody
sale
saying something.
or for
1 minute, 1 minute. No, you're not supposed to advertise. You're not even supposed to send an SMS. Nobody knows if you're doing something inside your land. How does somebody know that you are developing what? Where is the word of mouth?
Where is the word? In any manner.
In any manner. You cannot
Telling
even
to your
send an
neighbor, my
SMS.
husband is building a project, please come and see. That is called any manner. Okay. In any manner is that there ends. Huh?
So, okay,
Right?
of course, what happens practically and what is there in the statute are two different things.
Different thing.
But now you cannot eliminate the factor that an allotee can go file a complaint. Tomorrow, if you antagonize the allotee, for some reason he gets angry with you. You didn't offer coffee to him when he came to the office. He's angry with you. What he'll do, he'll go back home, sit at home, pay 1,000 rupees, file the complaint. A single line complaint is entertained. A single line. I've had to defend single line complaints. It's one single line. Direct promoter to refund GST. That's all is the complaint. Now I have to say how much GST I've collected, where I have paid. I have to say so many things to say that.
He said bring books of accounts. There ends everything.
So for a 10 words complaint, I have to explain myself so much. So that's what it is now. So to collect money, yes, if nobody bars you, you can do whatever. But when the problem arises, I have another case. It's a unique case. It just comes to my mind now. The promoter in a row house or a villa project has allotted the area behind the villa, which is abutting the compound wall. In the plan, it is shown as common area. But he has said, okay, I'm giving it to you, you can make a garden. One of the allottees He is somehow angry with him. He said, now I want that area, I want to walk there. He has filed a complaint saying that is common area. The promoter could not have allotted it. Unfortunately, the promoter's lawyer, whoever was there that time, he said, you go ahead and give it in the sale deed itself. Now the sale deed shows that the area behind his villa is allotted to him. So these are things which you don't anticipate. Nobody knows that it's a villa behind there's a compound wall. This is a small patch of land where somebody is making a garden. But it becomes a problem when one of the allottees says, there is something wrong, I want to take him. So this is how the problems arise. Yes, not just the small promoters, even the biggest of the promoters. We know for a fact that Section 13 mandates that it has to be, an agreement has to be registered. But the most prominent promoters in Bangalore are not today, they're not registering the agreements. They are not. The problem arises when somebody goes to court.
So come back to section 3. Section 3 is what? Section 3 is? 3 is
registration.
prior registration of what? Of? It's a real estate project. You should be very clear. Section 3 is prior registration of a real estate project with whom? RERA authorities. Clear? It's a prior registration. You say whatever, sir, I called, sir, over a cup of coffee, I told BDA officer. He had given 1 lakh check as the initial amount for me. There ends. Right? So in no manner that you will end up with advertisementing, book, sell, market. Okay, not on your site, upcoming apartment project. Okay, to that extent, it mandates for you to register for RERA. Okay, and I'm sure that initially many notices were issued because there is in the authority, there is a separate department. The moment application comes, they go through in the web page. If you say that ABC Private Limited is a promoter name, ABC Villa Project, ABC Lakeview, he will Google it, ABC Lakeview. If you get it, if that matches, he will issue a notice Section 3(1) violation.
That used to happen. Of course, it's not happening now.
Now,
at the earlier stage, they would, the moment the application comes, they would Google the name. With the Google, whatever comes out. There were instances where many channel partners, the over-eager channel partners would have already advertised the projects. Then the promoters had to file police complaints against them and produce those police complaints saying that I have not done it, somebody else had done it. Because 1%, up to 1% penalties are levied, 30, 40, 50 lakhs is levied for advertising before the project launch. So all that has happened. So of course, now it's not that stringent, but yes, it can happen anytime.
So these are all the important compliances as a chartered accountant we should know. We'll take up one by one.
Okay. The other thing is, can somebody tell me when should a promoter register the project? When is it? What is the time? Does the Act stipulate when the project should be registered? Other than what you've read Section 3(1) now. What does it say? Before launch, which means when?
I got a plan in 2020.
Which means when? No, you don't advertise. You will advertise it after you complete it. You after OC, you have a lot of money. You're sitting on a lot of money. So you will not register it till you complete. No. When do you register? When do you apply? When do you make an application under Section 4? After the plan approvals? Is it mandatory to, where does it say immediately after plan approvals you have to file an application? No, where does it say? Section 3(1) you just read.
Read once again.
It just says prior registration. Before you market, sell or do something, you have to register the project. Does it say when?
It should not, like you require a registration prior to advertisement, sell,
So,
marketing, collect money.
I get a question, or we get a question in every session with promoters. Sir, nane duddu haktini. I will invest the money. I will develop the project. I'll buy the land. I'll develop the project. I'll take the completion also. Should I still register the project?
Actually, DLF made post RERA. We'll complete everything using our own money. After completion, you come and buy it now.
Okay.
It's a ready product. Okay,
So when a promoter develops the project completely, then should the project be registered? Yes? Okay. Somebody says no. Why no? Okay, that is, we'll see even section 17 of Town and Country Planning Act is amended. But,
release order you want it.
okay. Hmm. So which means that if there are out of 100, 60 people are able to invest the money and I know. No, there are no allottees till you complete. No.
That is
No,
one of
no,
the objective.
no.
That's one of the
Okay,
objectives.
first, okay, let him complete. Let him complete.
Because of all these diversion of funds and unscrupulous, way of doing it was there. Ultimately, the risk was onto the financial institutions and the allottees. These were the two people whose money was siphoned off or diverted, whatever. Now, if the developer, so one is that if the project is completed, it is from their own money. Where is the risk element? That's what the point is.
So what I understand from him is that there is no financial implication on the project in terms of its completion. It is already completed. So I don't have to register the project. Any other view?
We are not collected money. Use own money.
He should register. Okay, completed project offering for sale should register. Okay, anything else? Anything, it could be anything. You said no. Why?
Because, it is not secure for an allotee to go without RERA.
No, you said you don't have to register, correct? Or you have to register?
I completed the
You have
project
to
now.
register. Okay.
Intention to sell now. With the entire project, I own money, and where I don't have still the thought of selling to anybody now, and I'm constructing a by side, I'm constructing a house.
Oh, you live in all the 100 apartments.
So
So
that read this
The-
definition
So
also.
once it is completed, then once OC and all is there, then I will invite the customers and then I'll sell.
So, of course, the act does not prescribe the time when you have to make an application. Section 3 only prescribes that before you market, before you collect money from the allottees, you are supposed to register the project. So this is the requirement. So even if you have completed the entire project, obtained the OC, completed all the development works, the moment you want to launch, let's say that you are a family and you are 5 brothers, you take a sanction for an apartment, you build 20 apartments. All of you are taking two apartments. There are some left out. For somebody, for them, it is just for the family we are constructing. But then some of it they want to sell to recover the cost of construction. When they decide to sell, then it becomes a real estate project which is necessary to be registered under the project because they are intending to sell a few of the units in that building. So even in such a case where the intention, like you said, there is no intention to sell at all. Some people come to us, sir, now marade illa. I am going to lease it in perpetuity. But are you going to not sell in perpetuity? You don't know. After 5 years, you may want to sell the building. So Karnataka RERA enables you to register ongoing project as well as a completed project. So every project has to be registered. And can you invoke the jurisdiction of RERA in case of an unregistered project by filing a complaint? Yes. Yes. Are you sure? How does RERA get jurisdiction over a project which is not registered under the Act?
Whatever incomplete also has to be registered.
Ongoing projects were required to be registered. Registered. I am talking about, can you file a complaint in respect of a project which is not registered? No. of course, section 3 requires registration. Now, somebody doesn't register the project at all. He's completed, doesn't register, but you have a grievance as you come in later on, you buy into the project later on. He said, I'll give you a swimming pool. He's not giving you a swimming pool. He's not completed it. He said, he'll give you an STP. He's not completed it. It is post. STP ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, function. They didn't
Registration authority.
operationalize the STP. What will you do? You will go before RERA. RERA will say, which is the project? Because in the drop down to file the online complaint, you should have the complaint number. I'll click madre drop down on nim project hesare kansadilla. So, and the Supreme Court in a recent judgment in Newtek also said that, of course, a lot of other high courts are also saying that, where in fact, Karnataka High Court also recently in February 2023 in one of the cases said that if the project is not registered, RERA cannot entertain a complaint. Cannot entertain a complaint. So the law, of course, when RERA started earlier, most of the authorities were entertaining complaints in respect of even old projects. So in fact, Karnataka RERA entertained a project in case of a project called Platinum City. Most of you will know if you are in Bangalore. Platinum City is a project in Yeshwanthpur, which is an old project, about 20-year-old project. Entertained a complaint, passed an order saying that it should be registered. So now with the law developing, even our own high courts holding, even our own high court holding that in case of a complaint, in case of the project not being registered, the authority cannot exercise jurisdiction. So what happens when a project is not registered is the allottees don't get a right to agitate. That's one of the things.
But
Everybody can take vision under this.
now for that.
That's exactly the thing.
You have to
So-
next part of it.
So
Okay.
that's exactly the thing. So even if it's a completed project, whatever it is, with the coming of RERA, every real estate project which meets the definition of a real estate project, where the intention is to sell,
Read the
either
definition.
part or whole of it,
Section 2
should be registered. Not just to say that my financial compliances are done, so there is nothing left. All that RERA is wanting to do is make sure that I complete the project. No. Section 12, 14, 18. So all these under 18, the title, now we know that in Bangalore, with the rains coming, I'm sure some apartments will get demolished because some of them are built on valleys. We have seen that in the past, that the entire apartment building itself is
On Raj Ghat,
demolished. So what happens to the allottees then? Where is the protection? Does this act give protection?
So now read the section 2ZN, back to section
we'll
2ZN
do-
about the real
we'll do-
estate project.
We'll do
Section
18.
3(1) talks about,
18.
Sir, tier 2 and tier 3 cities where the development of plots are happening, but they are not coming under the registration of RERA.
now they're not coming is different,
No,
sir.
sir, how many vehicles do you see on the road without registration in Mofussil areas? Lot of vehicles, automobiles. They are literally like killing machines. So many, they are without registration. So what do? Similarly for RERA also, so if you take section 18(2), page 17,
Section 18 subsection 2.
the promoter shall compensate the allottees in case of any loss caused to him due to defective title of the land on which the project is developed or has been developed in the manner as provided
Under this act.
under this act, and the claim for compensation under this subsection shall not be barred by limitation provided under any law for the time being in force. So would this protection become available for somebody who has not registered the project? No. So, and section 18(2), there is no limitation. You might realize after 10 years, there is a partition suit filed by somebody, while of course they will declare it in Form B that OS number so and so is already filed. So in spite of which the promoter will assure you saying that no, Baba, there's nothing in that claim, you go on. So finally that litigant succeeds. After all the litigation, High Court, so finally Supreme Court holds that no, this land could not have been developed. They did not have exclusive rights. So what happens after 10 years, you have lost the title to the land. What do you do then? Like the demolition in Maradu, in Kochi,
Kerala,
Kochi.
Kerala, Super Tech in
What-
Delhi.
What happens? So when that loss happens, the projects ought to have been registered so that to enable you to invoke the provisions of section 18(2) and seek for compensation. So these are the many things that obligations of promoter under section 11, something is not done. You have a question.
Bodies, right? Government employee.
Government agencies.
Government. That's okay, sir. Government employees, they form a society
Mhm.
after.
Cooperative society.
Housing society, cooperative housing societies. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They are not neither registered nor registered in RERA.
And not even enter into sale agreements also, because they collect the, by showing the land, they will call for an.
I know. I myself am an allottee of such a project. So I invested in 2005 and just last month they registered. So I spoke to the president. I said, you are supposed to register the project. Sir, ಆಗ್ಲೇ ನಮಗೆ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ಇವಾಗ ಅದು ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. So of course, yes, now
Can
with
you
the
see
coming
on
of
the board?
RERA. So yeah,
Can you see on the board?
yeah.
It is for you only. Huh?
So it is necessary for them to register now. If you see the definition of a promoter also. I think
So the
we are
recently
discussing.
is the recent order passed
Other
against the
than that, go to
Yashaswini
the
House
slide.
Building Cooperative Society. Same thing, they
No.
have not registered, they collected money, they have directed the promoter that the society to register the project.
One
And
slide
also
before
say
this,
that.
one slide before
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So this is the definition of a promoter. So a person who constructs or causes to be constructed. So this is where, of course, we'll discuss this in depth later on.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
no,
just-
come, just go back there, go back there. So here, an apex state level cooperative housing finance society, any development authority, and a primary cooperative housing society. So even these are included. They are supposed to register the project. Yes, they are not registering. And in fact, there is a writ petition pending before the Karnataka High Court filed by about 17 or 20 cooperative societies. No stay order is given. However, they are not, some of them are not registering, but now predominantly Bangalore, of course, now they don't have many, but Mysore has a lot of cooperative societies. I am told, as I understand, they have about 200, 300 cooperative societies existing in Mysore. They are all now coming and registering. But yes, the money that has been collected is before RERA. In most of the cases, the money collected is before RERA. Those they are not able to, one, they are not able to acquire the land and develop. Two, they are not coming forward. We also address the cooperative housing association, the Sauharda. We addressed cooperative societies. Their part of the grievance is different. Sir, ದುಡ್ಡು ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಡೆವಲಪರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ತಗೊಳಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ. So they have a different this thing, but yes, you can file a complaint. In the complaint, the first prayer you will seek is direct them to register the project.
Yes.
They are collecting.
No,
They do that. You go ahead and do all of it. Hoping that they'll give you the site. That's what I also did. So
Okay.
though I know all of this, though I try to educate the president, they are different. But if you're really aggrieved, if you want to take them to court, nothing stops you, just like the order that is there. An order will be passed.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, you can file, but the first relief should be that you should
Register the project because
there's a judgment of Haryana Real Estate Regulatory Authority, Simisika versus MR. It's about 100, 200 pages judgment. It tells you about how registration should be done, how a complaint should be filed. But your first relief should be direct the
promoter to
promoter to register the project, and then whatever reliefs you are doing. If you choose to do that.
Okay.
Okay. For persuasive value, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Even other high courts, we are relying on Allahabad High Court judgments to say that a promoter, when the promoter, under section, when an appeal has to be filed, promoter has to deposit 100% of the money awarded. The first order we relied was from Allahabad High Court. So we are relying on, for persuasive value, we are relying on other authority orders, other appellate tribunal orders. We are doing that.
So on the screen, you can see this just about how many days old complaint? Old order? 1 week. They say that society directed them to register the project. And second para, if you see, why penalty should not be initiated under section 59(1) of the act.
That penalty is up to 10%.
Up to 10%
of
of
the estimated cost of
the project.
Society in Mysore, they collected thousands of crores. Now there are allottees of 3,000, 4,000 allottees, but they are not, projects have not been registered.
Yes.
Yeah, they are not being registered.
Now they started, many are started registering. At least you have about 100 housing societies already registered with RERA. At least that is what is our experience.
Slum Development Board has about 80 projects registered in RERA. The central government, because these are subsidized, central government, before releasing the funds, they said, go register the projects first. And then they release the funds.
If you read the definition of a promoter, you should see that who are all included.
Complaints are filed against BDA. BDA has
BDA is not
registered the
spared.
projects. BDA.
BDA has
Housing
registered,
Board.
housing board registered. In what is a society we are talking about? So that is what the any development authority like BDA, MUDA or any development authority, BDA has registered all their Nada Prabhu, Kempegoda layout. They are fighting it. 5 years of delay. They have to label for delay compensation.
For industrial development sites.
Yes.
You can, yeah. We are discussing two
That's
decisions, whether industrial, one state has held that industrial plots do not come, one state has held that industrial plots are covered under RERA.
Yeah.
So that we still don't have a precedent in Karnataka.
So,
Agriculture land is out.
sir,
That is not covered.
sir, now have you
That
read it? Now read the section 2ZN, sir. Good. Each one of you get one section, sir. Sections 2ZN. Real estate project, because you read section 3. What is to be registered is what? Real estate project require a registration. Okay, what is real estate project? We should understand now. Means the development of a building or a building consisting of apartments or converting of an existing building or a part thereof into apartments or development of land into plots or apartment. As the case may be, for the purpose of selling, you do all these activities for the purpose of selling or all selling all or some of the said apartment or plots or building. It says that there should be a land to the apartment, land to the building or land to the plots. Okay, this is called real estate project. Why are you doing this activity? Land into the apartment, land into the plots. Intention of intent to sell. You do it for your own, for happiness, like cutting a cake. Okay, you eat it.
That's what, sir.
Your intention is to sell. Continue, don't stop. Of all, sell all or any part of it. 1,000 acres, one site you want to sell it. That is satisfy the real estate project, and prior registration of the real estate project is required. I'll come, sir. Your question now, sir.
No.
What is your question, sir?
No, whether agriculture.
Farmhouse, agriculture, is that fit into the definition of agriculture, real estate project?
Vinay, we'll read the definition of apartment.
Yeah, we'll come there also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Now, is it a real estate project?
so
Which
let's
require
read.
registration under RERA.
No, they are not doing it. No, why they are not doing it, we'll explain. So
Okay.
read section 2.
What they're selling, what they're selling is what they're selling. It's a land they're selling. Okay,
There is no
where
sanction.
is basic amenities? Who gives the sanction?
Okay. No, before we answer that,
Okay.
can we read the definition of
Apartment.
apartment under section 2E? Apartment, whether called block, chamber, dwelling unit, flat, office, showroom, shop, godown, premises, suite, tenement, unit, or by any other name, means a separate and self-contained part of any immovable property, including one or more rooms or enclosed spaces located on one or more floors or any part thereof in a building or on a plot of land used to be intended used or intended to be used for any residential or commercial use as residence, office, shop, showroom or godown, or for carrying on any business occupation, profession or trade, or for any other type of use ancillary to the purpose of specified. So if you enlarge this definition to a plot,
And a building, apartment.
so when you see, plot is not defined under the act. So if you enlarge the definition of an apartment to a plot or to a site or a plotted development project, it should be intended to be used for residential or commercial use. So agricultural use, what those plots are being sold are for agriculture. Section 4 requires that there should be a sanctioned plan. Now for these agricultural plots which are being sold, there is no sanctioned plan, and you purchase it in, what is the unit you purchase it in? You purchase it in guntas. So what you are buying is
Land only.
land only, which
Not
is
the
covered
plots.
only under the Land Revenue Act. Because you get it mutated, your RTC comes, there is nothing commercial about it. The only thing that you pay is land revenue to that. Property taxes are also not paid. And the road that gets sold to you as an access road is actually owned by people. Tomorrow, if you say no, non full compound wala kontini, next fellow will not have the road. So that is how it is. It's a completely, what should I say, unorganized currently, until some problems start arising where people, like, if
Try to
opposite-
resell
if
it.
diagonally opposite people put compound walls around those 5 guntas, plots beyond that will not have a road, because they would have sold the road along with it.
Many scams have happened in that case also. Agree.
India is a land of opportunities. So,
Okay.
so all
Yeah.
Ponzi, every day we see online scams. So similarly, this is just business.
Who are buying this, sir? You have to understand who are all buying this, sir. Who are all buying this? Is people who are buying, what type of what category of people they are buying it, how they are investing this, what purpose they are investing. Everyone is buying now. You have to start selling that. Then you will come to know what are the pains and the challenges. As of now, there is no resale at this point of time. If at all, maybe that seller only buying back and reselling to somebody. Independently try to sell this, what are the so-called farmhouses. You will experience that what are the hindrances, what are the challenges you will have it. People have one house, one car, second house, permanent income, then they are going for a farmhouse. Till that nobody is going there. Even they lose a farmhouse, they may not be worried about it. That is what is the present scenario of selling the farmhouse. So there are good people who are making this as one of the good concept, and they are trying to do something, and it has to evolve. Okay. When you read the definition of an apartment, come back to our now you read, sir. This is what is the case law, sir. Many things may not be spelled out. That is why courts are there to tell about it. Now this is a case which is in Tamil Nadu, which is Tamil Nadu authority and also appellate, both are upheld the same, stating that appellant entered into MOU with the TIDCO, Tamil Nadu Industrial Development something, to develop the SCZ. The object is to develop a specialized industrial area. What the appellate delivered is the entire act and legislative history clearly mentioned about the sale of plots, apartments, etc. Therefore, the very purpose of the enactment is only for the regulation of sale of plots and apartments and not for any other purpose. Hence, the respondent RERA has rightly pointed out that the act has not differentiated plots into housing plots, commercial plots, or industrial plots. This is what is a Tamil Nadu RERA upheld. So they have not differentiated. If you read the definition of a real estate project, it says only land into plots. It never says land into residential plots. It says only land into plots, number one. Then land into building, again, land into apartment. The moment you see apartment definition, Okay, residential, commercial, a building, a shop, a godown, whatever you name it. Even something recently we got a query whether this warehousing project comes under RERA. Okay, next question is for me, who will give the permission to build the warehousing? Which authority will give the permission to build the warehousing projects? Okay, is the next question. For us also it's new. Okay, we should also understand whether BDA gives, BBMP give, BMRDA give, Bayappa give, or nobody gives it. Huh? If there is authority to issue that. So we
Village
should.
Panchayat can issue building license. There is no bar under the act to issue building
Now
license.
before that there should be a development plan.
The layout plan cannot be issued by the Panchayat.
Okay.
Once you take a layout plan for the building license, you can go to Panchayat.
Okay,
Vinay,
so
there is Maharashtra has
Maharashtra
said
also will
otherwise,
take it, yeah.
otherwise. The same thing.
exactly Maharashtra RERA has given a different view. They say that in a Techno Drive Engineering Private Limited, RERA is not applicable to industrial units as the definition of apartment in RERA does not include industry as against definition of flats under MOFA, because they are referring to the Maharashtra Ownership Flat Act. They are referring to that and they say that that doesn't have it. Their MOFA, earlier MOFA was purely on the residential. There was no commercial.
Commercial and residential.
Residential. So they are
Even
referring
just like COFA.
yeah, COFA and Maharashtra held earlier. Now the Tamil Nadu is the subsequent judgment. Yeah, so this is what, because we should understand what is the difference. Why industrial land it should not be applicable? They also collect money, na? Collect money for what? Land and building. Why it should
Like
be differentiated?
KDB.
Yeah, KDB or any
KDB.
private. Why it should be differentiated? Don't you feel that do we have confidence that they will deliver at all point of time whatever be the promises?
But Vinay, if you see KDB has not yet registered in it.
Yeah, not yet registered. Nobody has filed the complaint. That is the reason. Okay. Okay, so yeah.
Nobody can file because for allotment you would have done a lot of things.
So these are all the things which evolve slowly, which will evolve. Okay, you can file a writ, direct KIDB to file a.
Yeah. You own as an allottee. You buy 3 apartments. You sell it. No, you don't. You're an allottee. It's a subsequent sale.
You're not a
promoter.
Not a promoter, and you're not building any
No,
project.
he has something else. If it is pre-RERA, the occupancy certificate has come before 1/5/2017. It is not registered. You sell. It's like your own property. You do what you want.
Okay, now we have started with the fundamental question. Okay, we have spoken about registration, the project, the promoter, development, internal, external, estimated cost, prior registration, section 4 to LD. Now, RERA applicable to which projects now? We said real estate, industrial, plotted, everything is applicable. As he said that I built this project in 1960s. Should I register now? Should I register that project now? Yeah, perfect. So Act has given section 3(1) proviso to section 3(1) says any projects which have received the completion certificate prior to 1/5/2017. What is the cutoff date? Date 1/5. Why it is important? One is the Act effective implementation of all the sections. Second, as on that date, you should have what? Completion certificate, not occupancy certificate. Completion certificate is defined under the Act. We'll take that now because somebody raised it now. Now read section 3(1) proviso. What is 3(1) proviso talks about? provided that projects that are ongoing on the date of commencement of this act and for which completion certificate has not been issued, the promoter shall make an application to the authority for registration of the said project within the period of 3 months from the date of commencement of this act. What does that mean? On the date of act, you have not received the commencement certificate and which is ongoing, those projects required to register within 3 months of the act, that is 1/5/2017 to 3 months. That was the mandate. So now as on 1/5/2017, you should have received the completion certificate. Now read section 2 of what is completion certificate. Open section 2M. Sorry, commencement is 2M. Completion is section 2Q.
I've seen that, I mean, it is all there, but I have not received completion certificate.
That is what is a Platinum City exact case. 20 years old, they have not received the completion certificate. They filed a case against stating that we have not received the completion certificate till today. For that, what happened is Karnataka rules has framed some of the conditions. They know that some of the project wouldn't have received the completion certificate. However, project development, all development work in the project is completed and applied for the completion certificate as an date of notification of the rules, that is 10/7/2017, and 60% of the sale deed have been registered. That is the Karnataka rules have given the exception, because we know that many of the projects have filed an application for completion. They have not received for some reasons. So those projects they wanted to exclude, but first catch point is all development works are completed. There ends everything. All development work. Morning we discussed about internal and development, everything. Exactly. That is called development work, then internal development, external development. Once it is completed, you don't bother whether he received completion, occupancy, whatever may be. Because he has not completed, so you are bothered about it, right? Now section 2Q talks about it. Morning we have seen occupancy certificate. What is occupancy certificate? A certificate issued by a planning authority having a provision of what? Water, sanitation, electricity, right? That is called occupancy. These 3-4 are required for my basic habitation, right? That is a habitation purpose. Now read what is completion certificate. Completion certificate means the completion certificate or such other certificate by whatever name called, issued by the competent authority certifying that the real estate project has been developed in accordance with the sanction plan, layout plan and specifications as approved by the competent authority under the local laws. There ends everything. It doesn't mention what is to be completed. It says only what are the specifications which you have submitted to the respective statutory authorities, local laws. You should have all should have been completed. Planning approval, you have taken something. To take the planning approval, you should take Ministry of Forest Department, Horticulture, BESCOM, KH, water. So these are all the conditions of the competent authority. If you have satisfied all of these things, then planning authority, whatever the plan sanction. If you satisfied all of these things, this is called completion certificate. In entire project, nothing should be left in terms of the completion. At this point of time in Karnataka, nobody issues it. What we have is called occupancy certificate. Okay, clear? So this is what important, because as a chartered accountant, when I say that project is completed, we should understand what do you mean by completion of project under RERA. And we have seen that they say reported completion. Now he is buying the lift now. He is getting a loads of concrete. Sir, I have OC. Okay, Baba, but these are all, then why are you purchasing these things for the project, sir? Madam, exactly, madam, not 80. They may issue 70% occupancy certificate. BMRDA will issue it. 70% of occupancy certificate, they'll issue it. But, see, they say they have taken 3 towers project, man. They have given the 3 towers for the approval, building approval. 33%. They completed two towers. Okay, they wanted the allottees to come and settle there. They go and file an application, they issue, BBMP will issue partial occupancy certificate, they issue 70% partial occupancy certificate. Okay, because in a large projects, you cannot expect to issue 100% occupancy at a time. They give partial occupancy certificate, but they have to pass all the test of that occupancy certificate for that building, like fire NOC they should have, water they should have, electricity they should have, then only they will permit you to get the occupancy certificate. Okay. No, sir. Completion certificate, we do not have a concept.
So whatever is written, that we can do to this.
Now, for you to satisfy, to agree that project is completed, ensure that there is no certificate, but for you to ensure that this completion is done. Okay. Clear?
So can we attach for completion? Can we attach the
Architect certificate as a completion, sir, because his more responsibility to ensure that all the project all the work in a project is completed. So this is a important. As on 1/5/2017, you should have received what? Completion, not the occupancy certificate. You should have received the completion certificate, because many have applied for the occupancy certificate, received it stating that project is completed as on 1/5/2017, but our still works are pending in the project. So that is the reason it says Act talk only about the completion certificate. In GST, what is that it talks about? GST exempted as per schedule what? 2 or 3? 3 as a immovable property for the project which receives, repeat, yes, first occupation or exactly. Even GST also don't talk about occupancy certificate. GST also talks about completion certificate. But if you see the boarding and hoarding, what is mentioned? No GST. OC received, gone. After OC, you would have been end up with purchasing something. Authorities, sir, GST officer is sufficient to catch hold of him. Okay, it is not OC. Nowhere there is a concept. They say that OC. It's every act, every statute talks about completion certificate. Okay, who issues is a different, but it talks about completion certificate. Okay, in GST also, but GST has given some clarification in case of some states doesn't have a completion certificate. In place of that, occupancy certificate can be used. But only thing is, you should see that there also it is not a plain accepting of after the OC also. If you start purchasing the concrete, then what is that you have it? That's what is that. Okay, so it says for immovable property it is completed, not it for construction or work in progress. Okay, real estate project we have seen. Section 3 is a prior we have seen. Okay, and 31 he has explained complaints.
No. This is different. So now,
okay.
How the requirement of registration of RERA is being mandated upon promoters. If you see this, the Karnataka Town and Country Planning Act has been amended. Section 17 has been amended. Section 17 deals with sanction for subdivision of plot or layout of private street. Now, a subsection is included. So if you see C, so on approval of the provisional layout plan in the prescribed manner, before releasing 40% sites, the planning authority shall ensure that the project is registered under the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act. So if you see most of these sanctions that are being given now, one of the conditions required is to register under RERA. They are not issuing the release order without the registration certificate, just the 40%. Some of the authorities, if after the development, there is a requirement of getting the guideline value fixed. So some of them go before the district registrar saying that fix the guideline value. Then the district registrar is saying, get the RERA registration. So it's all getting connected now to say that some people are not registering. They are now coming, they come running before the release. Sir, I'll release korta illa. So it's all now. There is one particular project, BBMP is refusing to issue OC saying RERA registration to money. And that promoter is saying, I'm never going to sell. Sir, ella bari rent kodtini nanu. I'm making a hostel, I'm making a PG, whatever, I'm not. Still BBMP is saying, no, get the RERA registration, I'll give you the OC. So, now they are doing, so this is the amendment to Karnataka Town and Country Planning Act is in the other slide. No, where it's a mall, where it's evident that it is not going to be.
Sell, not going.
Not going to
No
sell, where
intention
the
of sell.
intention is to be leased.
It's a residential building.
No,
Generally
no, residential
building.
It's a residential building, residential apartments, which the promoter says, I'm intending only to rent out all the apartments, not to sell. The BBMP is refusing.
Even in a
So
mall, even one shop, your intention is to sell, then it's
You have to
require a
register the mall.
registration. If you see that,
Then,
it
then
requires
also
registration.
it
with
requires
RERA, sir.
registration.
If you read,
The entire floor plates are being sold. So when entire floor plate like 5,000, 10,000 square feet is being sold, we have filed applications similarly. In fact, we filed, there was no inventory there because we couldn't give how many number of shops are there or how many number of apartments or the units are there, because the promoter intended to sell the entire floor plates, or whoever you come and say, give me half that floor. But but then the authority said you divide it. You divide it and then file the application. When you are selling, you sell 10 shops together, 10 units together or 15. That's what. So that also can be, has to be done.
while registration, you will, in the drop down, you'll get residential, commercial, and the mixed development or the plotting. This is what is the 4 categories. Against that, you will select it. Accordingly, your fee structure will be calculated. Okay. So commercial is also applicable, sir. Mixed development also applicable.
So this is one endeavor by the Karnataka government to make sure that the RERA is the promoters register. In Orissa, the government has issued a notification or a circular directing all sub-registrars not to register projects where RERA registration is not there. That is yet to come in Karnataka.
Tamil Nadu is already there.
Tamil Nadu is also there. Tamil Nadu, in fact, is making the sub-registrars personally liable if they
In
register.
case they register the non-RERA.
So it is going to that extent. So
Malls are constructed, where part of the portion is complete, they want to sell it. So
They have to
on the
register
space,
it.
Undivided share land and. And where part of the land was get it out to lease.
lease.
Then what is the?
You have to register.
Register.
It. You have to register.
Even one unit.
Even one. Not JDA. The sale deed. The sale agreement or the sale deed. JDA is the prior, no? Before, not the JDA. So similar thing may happen in Karnataka, of course, because Karnataka, the
Has
revenue,
returned to the
the
IPR.
revenue that gets generated to stamps and registration, I think it is at number 2 now after excise. So they are still not there. They are not enforcing this so much, saying that you can't register, but it may happen sometime. But of course,
Every registrar,
You know-
every sub-registrar asking for RERA. They're asking
no,
for RERA.
asking for RERA or asking for more.
Asking for RERA.
If you don't have RERA, they'll
If
ask
you
for
have,
more.
come in this queue. If you don't have RERA, you come in this queue. That's all.
So that's what it is currently. But now even that is, now as we know, even that is digitized. Now
Online.
everything is online. So there something will come up, something will happen. So RERA will become mandatory. So your question saying somebody is not registering. See, the whole thing is that after 1/5/2017, let's say you buy into a project which was required to be registered. You bought it. You want to sell it. When you want to sell it, that buyer comes to me saying that, sir, nodi on ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ due diligence ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡಿ. I will say, register ಆಗಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ project ತಗೋಬೇಡ. So, RERA registration adds to the title now. The title stands vitiated if you don't have the registration. 10 years down the line, there may be something which says that RERA registered, unregistered projects you cannot sell at all. So any opinion that I give today, when the file comes to me, the first thing I see, whether it is a registerable project. If it is not registered, I don't even open it. I say, no, don't buy.
There are a project where there is no proper project approvals. There are that projects only they are selling, but.
No, those are the they are completely illegal. They are completely illegal.
Sir, as long as buyers are there to buy,
Yeah.
one can sell Vidhan Soudha also, sir. Very simple. If that is the case,
No,
let's not
That's a
like,
complete
it's all,
illegality.
it's all
What you're
about
talking about.
buyers. Okay, it's all about buyers. The more you tolerate, the more would be the,
No, what I mean to say is now at least the tier 1 cities now like Bangalore cities and all the awareness has been there. The tier 2 cities and tier 3.
No,
They are
tier-
doing much more bigger the real estate than.
No.
sir, last
get-
week
you
we
get-
were in Shivamogga.
Huh.
All 7 taluks of Shivamogga has a registered project, sir.
Yeah. People from Yadgir, we have registrations. from
Yadgiri, Bidar,
Bidar.
Bijapur.
You have
There are,
registrations.
out of 100, there are 1 or 2, but still there is awareness. There is.
My native, not even a single project.
Which native, sir? Gangavati? Siruguppa?
One project
No,
there,
Siruguppa, you have to select it. See, of
because
course, then you have more opportunities, sir. Go and put a office there. You have to see as an opportunity. Not saying that not registered. People will come and stand in a queue because
Yeah.
they are not able to get
No,
who is there.
Tumkur was not registering. For a long time, none of the projects in Tumkur as close as 70 kilometers.
More expensive than Bangalore now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Tumkur, what happened was one sub-registrar came. He was very strict. He said, RERA registration, tom money, non-register Martin. All the promoters came running thereafter. So it started. It needs just one thing to stop. So then once that stop happens, then everybody will start
Yeah.
coming.
Siruguppa ಒಳ್ಳೆ sub registrar ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಮುಗೀತು sir. Madam, you have some question.
There's been letter to apply. He paid rent for December. Subsequently, he decided that he wants to buy the entire building. Entire one. All the other. That time, if the promoter for
Okay, first thing, we should understand definition of a real estate project. It satisfies the definition of a real estate project. The land into building or land into apartment. The apartment definition include commercial, shop, garden, everything. Is this satisfied? Right? Second, the definition of real estate project also mentioned that your intention is to sell. Did he had an intention when he constructed the project? Did he had an intention to construct a project? When he constructed, he didn't have an intention to sell it. So slightly you can take up that view. Okay, you can take up that view. But generally, we still recommend, because it's only completed in March 23, come and file a registration with RERA, obtain the registration, and just you can close the complete, all you can file the completion also. Because the customer who buys this now entire project, he intend to sell tomorrow to somebody. Okay, that person may ask the RERA registration. Okay.
There'll be nobody will fund the project. Even if, let's say, that person who's buying, the entity which is buying has to avail a loan to buy this, then the financial institution will ask for a registration. So just like section, it's not about completion. It's about everything else. Like we spoke earlier, you have completed, you have taken possession. So everything is done. But later on, your defect liability is for 5 years.
The super
You
tech
realize
building is
after-
demolished, sir.
You realize
32 floor super tech building is demolished. Where do you go? So that's where is the question comes. Okay. One thing we should understand, it is not a registration authority. It is a regulatory authority for a real estate industry. It is like a SEBI, RBI or something else. For this industry, it's a regulatory authority. Can you put up your private bank? I'm asking you. Can I put a private bank? Private bank. I will not take RBI license. No, customers are there to come and deposit and take the loan, sir. Why? Why, sir? Sir, RBI will not come and see in your street, sir. You put Dhanalakshmi Bank. Who will know which bank, which Dhanalakshmi? That fraud happened. Somebody has put a SBI fake bank with entire setup of a system, computer.
They collected deposits.
And lending loan also. It was very profitable. Customers were happy. Unfortunate, government has made the mistake of shutting down that branch. Same thing, sir. Huh? Yeah, merged with SBI. Real SBI. SBI was really not performing well. He was doing very well business, very good profits. Huh? See? Yes, sir. You understood? It is first thing is as a professional, we should get flattened about it. RERA is applicable. RERA is there. Not to avoid, not to give ideas to the customers, clients, your friends, family members, buy something which is not RERA registered. Why I'm saying is unless we accept this, I know it's a radical, you can't fit this into the human mind. RERA is there, should I register? Sir, it's a register, sir, it's a regulatory body, it is not a registration body.
No. Defect liability is for 5 years. Defect liability extends 5 years after the date of possession. Section 14(3). 18. What happens like now, there was a rumor that there's a valley passing through Orion Mall. You heard about it? Brigade Millennium, there is some problem. So what happens when finally they say, okay, part of the Orion Mall has to be demolished. Now your client has purchased that part, has not insisted on registration. The entity is big. The entity which has sold to you, you can recover compensation, but you have not insisted for RERA registration. You cannot invoke the provisions of RERA. What you'll have to do is then go seek compensation. Go to the civil court and do that. While you could have done it under RERA.
RERA. Now
So
there
that
is a bar and civil court.
What you are saying is that it's completed.
Sir, 5
Sorry,
years,
no.
sir.
This is 5 years, section
Under
14(3).
it is 5 years.
Section 14(3). I'm not quoting from judgment. I'm quoting from the statute. Section 14(3) gives you 5 years. Section
14(3), read now.
18(2) in perpetuity. Law of limitation does not apply. It can be after 10 years or 15 years that you realize the title is defective. You can still go against the promoter. Those are regulatory orders. Like now, see, the sanction itself is wrong. Let's say that there is a particular project, a small apartment building, which is constructed on an area which is encroached forest area or encroached lake bed. Now, whether you have done diligence or not, later on, Lake Authority issues an order saying that I am going to enclose this, which has happened in many cases. In fact, in one of the Purvankara projects, the what do you call that? The road on one side was declared as a lake. The Lake Authority laid so if something like that happens because of which you are put to difficulty or your apartment, you lose it, then you can go claim irrespective of whatever, because you have lost title. The title is defective. You go file a complaint before RERA under section 18(2) and say that compensate me, refund the money along with interest and compensation. Because then if you are able to establish that the promoter, in spite of having knowledge, has done this, then you can certainly claim for compensation also. That doesn't matter. Like those buildings which get demolished, which are built on valleys, all the authorities have given sanction. Mere giving sanction, if you see, all sanctions are given saying that based on your documents, if later on it is found that something is defective, we will cancel anta, raddugoliಸಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ anta seal ಹಾಕಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲದರಲ್ಲಿ. They don't take responsibility.
Now, if you see the recent, the Shobana, OC cancellation.
Sobha City.
Sobha City.
The OC is cancelled.
After how many years? 7 years. BBMP
has cancelled the OC because it was found that one of the NOCs which was produced was fabricated. So it is because of allottees pursuing. Allottees constantly pursued BBMP saying that they went to the fire authority, filed an application under RTI. The fire force services said that we have never issued this NOC. They took that, they went to BBMP saying that how did you issue OC? So no, but then No, builder now will go pay penalty and obtain a proper NOC and get a proper OC now. So
Well,
they will
property will
regularize
be-
it. They will what earlier you had was an illegal document.
And
So
many
when you
a time,
find out an illegality, what you do is you say correct it. You don't say that, no, I will accept it because I'll be in trouble. Those days, they also are before RERA. They are before RERA and they are before High Court. They are before Civil Court. They are before every court.
Sir, some cases where illegal construction demolition order has been given. Now, what will be the fate of the buyers that they cannot get the compensation or what will be the fate of last buyer?
section 18(2), read section 18(2), that is what mentioned.
So
The
where-
promoter shall compensate the allottees in case of any loss caused to him due to defective title of the land.
Sorry? Provided it is registered.
Provided.
No,
Now
this-
you direct him to register now. First,
No. If it is a registerable.
registerable project. If it is registerable project, they'll get the compensation. Yes.
That insolvency again.
Yeah, there is a module to report completion.
It is.
No, it moves the project. You have an ongoing project, then you have completed project. So it moves
Many
into the
companies
bucket
are
of
like that,
completed
na?
projects. So you
Many
can see
companies are
completed
there.
projects on the website. No certificate, no certificate. In fact, Karnataka RERA is the only authority which has a separate module for reporting completion.
No.
One of the only.
Gujarat, I
Huh.
think Gujarat has module for providing the document along with last quarter update for the completion.
Mhm. So we also have a similar module for reporting completion. Once you report, till you report completion, you have to keep filing quarterly updates. That's another thing. So you have to report completion in respect of a project which is registered in Karnataka. We discussed it at length. All development works are completed, occupancy certificate or completion certificate is given, release order in case of a plotted development. So all that is there. So with all that, you report completion.
Now with all these things, if the promoter failed to register in terms of as per section 3(1), contravene section 3(1), there is a orders passed by the authority under section 59. 59(1) talks about contravention of section 3(1), for which penalty may be extended up to 10% of estimated project cost, right? Have you heard any other law which talks about penalty and compare based on the cost? How many promoters will have 10% as a profits after tax? Have you seen?
There
So
may
if
be-
you there may be, at
yeah,
least
there
you,
will be, certainly.
have you seen it?
Huh.
Have you seen in books at least?
Books you not see.
Okay.
Yeah. Books you don't see. 1 minute.
None of them make profit, at least on the books.
Yeah.
Some of them off the books also they don't make profits, but they have money. Having money doesn't mean they made a profit. Don't confuse. Okay, having money doesn't mean they made profit all along. That means all startups wouldn't have made any money till now. Okay, at least most of the startups. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Development of plots. When the developer has registered for RERA, he has not mentioned when he is going to do the plot. There's given only for the start and date, the end date of the completion of the development. Nothing mentioned about. So according to the developer, after getting the release order, they will construct the clubhouse. But in such a case, before the clubhouse is starting, he would have completed the development because it's easy to complete a development. So can he do the handover of the?
Okay.
In that case, the customer will ask where is the
Clubhouse.
And
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Very
Okay.
good
Have
question.
you seen the plot? Have you seen the layout plan? In the layout plan, is there a clubhouse?
What you
And
see,
in the brochure, you would,
what you see is only a plot. No.
so in the brochure, what is there? Clubhouse is there. Your sale agreement? No. So what, as an allottee, you're asking the question as a professional, as an allottee? Okay, so if you're an allottee, you will rely on the brochure to say that I was promised a clubhouse, but there is no clubhouse. When the handover, when the final demand comes saying pay this last installment and come forward and register the sale deed, that time you can ask, you still have to pay. You pay the final installment. Before registration, you say, where is the clubhouse? If it is not there, then the start date, end date is given. And if it is closer to the end date, let's say the end date is 5th of June or 10th of June, and you are registering today, the clubhouse will come when after 1 year. What you become entitled to? Delay period interest. So because it's not there in the layout plan, it's not there in your agreement, but in the brochure it is promised. So which means it's an amenity which should have been delivered to you, which is not being delivered. Though you take the sale deed, in spite of which you can still go ahead and file a complaint saying that the clubhouse is not delivered, please give me delay period interest. So the promoter becomes liable to pay the interest for the delay for delivering the clubhouse. If you are asking the question as a professional, you will tell the promoter not to put that clubhouse in the brochure. What you can do is, you can say that you offer a membership to a clubhouse which is proposed to be constructed later on. You make the actual statement what you actually intend to do, because most of the promoters do this, that they develop the plotted development project. They use 2 of the plots or 1 of the plots which is declared as a commercial plot in the project to build the clubhouse. However, because the layout development can be completed prior to the construction of the clubhouse, you show it as only a plotted development project. What can be done is, the clubhouse can be promoted as a membership, not as a part of the amenity. But then if you do that, whether you hand over to the association for maintenance or whether you become liable to maintain the project, it depends where it is located, whether you can actually maintain the clubhouse. Because today, if you see, every other plotted development project has a clubhouse. I don't know who's going to use it, because these projects are far flung somewhere away from the town. We have seen so many of them, they become defunct. It's just like a statement, like a lifestyle statement saying that, okay, I have this car, I have this clubhouse, but it's of no use. So you will have to read it in entirety for you to understand. As an allottee, yes, what is promised should be delivered. As a professional, you have to understand what is the intent, what can happen, how you should advise your client. Do I answer it? Or the second?
I can only see that the development, construction about the strategy. So I can go to that and file a complaint.
Yes, you can. You will, from the date on which you promise to deliver till you deliver, or authority has passed orders till obtaining of occupancy certificate, till completion of development. You have already told the allottee.
Section 12.
You have already told the allottee. Huh? No, nothing over the phone. If it is in writing, it's there in the brochure, then you have a sale agreement. In the sale agreement, there's a delivery date. You'll have to read everything cumulatively. You can't, in isolation, you cannot. Some places it's there, some places it's not there. Sometimes the specifications, what the promoters give on the website is much different, is very different from what is there in the brochure. And again, in the sale agreement, these 3 things will differ. But you can put all of them together to say that on the authority, they would have given only 12 amenities. In the brochure, they'll give 30 amenities. In the sale agreement, they'll give only 20 amenities. So what happens is, all of them put together will become what is promised to you.
post approaches RERA, and then do we have a leverage, that is, the promoter, have a leverage to complete the clubhouse at the stipulated time what was mentioned in the committee?
What do you mean? You mean the complaint is filed by there is a start date, there is an end date. Before the end date, the allottee files a complaint. Allottee cannot file a complaint before the end date, no, because you can report, but then you have not completed all the amenities. You cannot hand over. As on the date, when you are raising the final demand, I can ask as an allottee, have you completed everything? Why are you asking me for the full money? What we discussed in the beginning, development works and what is completion. If though you have completed, you have received OC 1 year before or 18 months before the end date, but then mere obtaining of OC is not enough what we discussed. Have you completed all an allottee? Maybe some of the allottees may still come and say, okay, fine, I'll take the sale deed. One or a few of the allottees might say, have you completed all the amenities? So you cannot as a promoter, you cannot say that I will raise the final demand, receive the full money before completing all the amenities and facilities in the project.
We have to move on. We have to move on. Huh?
Yes. Clubhouse or whatever amenity you have promised. Even small things. Clubhouse, in clubhouse, you have not completed the badminton court. How do you offer? So when an allottee comes in, some things are not completed. So then that enables an allottee to file a complaint.
Suhail, we'll take it separately if it is an independent thing, okay? Because in the time of interest after time, yeah, okay. So these aspects are related to the registrations. 59, we talks about contravention of section 3 will invoke the section 59, which ends up with how much? Up to 10% of the project cost. Okay, authority may impose. Before imposition, he has to give a opportunity of being heard. Okay, so that's what happened in the case of one of the Obel builders. They say that they levied a penalty, and the penalty is levied about 39 lakhs or something. Then this builders has approved, and authority further say that unless you remit the penalty, will not issue the sanctions. Registration. The promoter has approached the appellate tribunal, Karnataka appellate tribunal. Karnataka appellate tribunal held that penalty and registrations are both separate. Okay, for the sake of not payment of penalty, don't hold the registration. That is, it's a very good judgment in favor of the promoter.
This was the interim appellate tribunal at that point of time.
So, however, maybe authority has all the rights to collect those penalties imposed as land revenue also, in case if the promoter don't pay it. But generally, penalties were levied, collected. 1% is levied in various projects. The 1% amounting to 1.8 crores, 1.2, 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs. This is a case of 39 lakhs and something. Okay. So this is about the registration aspect of it. And registration certificate, these are registration certificate issued. It's the online registration. Various conditions are stipulated. We'll discuss about the various conditions of the registration. Okay.
We'll
break for a lunch. Actually, a lunch break is
we'll break for lunch and reassemble at 2:30 sharp.
Okay, my request, do we need 1 hour lunch break?
No,
because we have because RERA can't be covered in one day, but we will try to give something. No, we'll ensure that you will have a supply.
No, I think we'll come back at 2:15, and I think Mr. Nipun is continuing his session. He has a flight. A little early flight, so he'll be continuing post lunch, and once he completes, then we'll take over. Maybe at about you have 1 or 2 hours.
Depends.
2 hours.